Hey, Fitzy here, back at it again with another one. You know what this one's all about. You can see it in the title and the description, okay? But I want to give some background for you guys that have never been to my channel before. I do a lot of sheet metal work, okay? This brake here I built over 20 years ago. It was a homemade metal brake. It has treated me really well, and I've done a lot of metal work with it. Door bottoms, all that type of stuff. But it's limited to what it can do. Now, over the years, I've looked into upgrading and getting a better brake, and I'm not one for spending money on tools, first of all, okay? I can't see myself spending money on a lot of tools. I make a lot of what I need, okay? Secondly, when I looked around, it was very hard to get a brake that was like 5 feet long that I could get here locally used. And the used brakes are usually 8 to 10 feet long, and they want $4,000 and $5,000 for them. I don't know about you, but it's like, unless you have a warehouse or you have 5 or 6 bays in your garage, you need a full garage just for equipment. The problem with big machinery and having all the cool tools is that you got to have a big garage for it. Now, my garage is not small by no means, and a lot of guys have smaller garages out there. My very first garage was only 22 by 12, and I did all my work out of that. Mostly all the bends that I can make on this brake are just straightforward bends. If you're not familiar with my channel, you've seen me have this long length of I-beam that I use. And on this I-beam, I usually bend the second and third bends, okay? Usually I'll take the longest bend. Say if I was doing a door bottom, I'd put in this and I'd fold the bottom up. Then I would have to bend the ends of it. I take that over and clamp it on the I-beam and take a piece of angle iron. Sometimes I have to cut it the length and I clamp it on and I'd hammer form it up over the edge of the angle iron. That's how I do my second and third bends. I always said it'd be great to get a box and pan brake. I've priced some of them up. The prices have come down. I've seen some of them now about $2,000 plus shipping. I live on an island here. Shipping is usually the killer on a lot of stuff. But to me, $2,000 is a lot of money to spend on something, okay? I've seen them. That's the cheapest I've found. Most of them that I come across are between $5,000 and $15,000 for a brake, okay? Now, if you're having a business and you're making lots of money and you need a brake for that, that's fine, okay? Most of us are hobbyists. Me, I'm old school. I just like making stuff, and I don't spend a lot of money on tools. If you've come to my channel, you realize I don't have a lot of tools, okay? I make do what I got. And I'm not one to go out and buy all these fancy tools just because of brand names or whatnot. That's not me, okay? But in saying all that, I always say it'd be nice to have a box and pan brake. I couldn't find one around. And then I started thinking, do I need it for big jobs? Like, what do I need a box and pan brake for? And that's where I found this. So if you're familiar with my channel, you've known Vevor after sending me a number of tools. And I have a lot of them here. I have jacks, sanders, I have the scope, I had their bandsaw, all of it fantastic, okay? I've used it, and it's great tools. And the price is what gets me, is, how reasonable the prices are. Well, they've been contacting me now for the last little while, asking me, will I try this tool? Will I try that tool? The problem is with me is that I just don't want to go taking tools just for the sake of taking tools. To me, the tools got to be something of interest, something that I could use in a small shop doing metal fabrication of some sort. So they asked me, said, go through our site and see if there's anything there that interests you. So I went through the site, started looking around, and come across this. It's a little 24-inch box and pan brake. I haven't really seen these around. It's only the last little while they're starting to pop up. I saw that and I said to myself, that's a neat little thing. It's heavily built. It looks like it's heavily built. And I said to myself, that could come in handy, because I started thinking about all the stuff I've after building over the years. The smaller patches, like lower quarter panels, rocker panel sections, small sections, floor pans, all this type of stuff. I started thinking about all the stuff I've after making, and a lot of it is, 20, 22 inches in square sometimes, not very big. Something like this could come in handy for that. But what it comes in handy for was doing them like door bottoms, where I got a 5-foot door panel, the bottom that I put in the door, and I can bend the big long end in my old brake, but I can't bend my sides unless I hauls out my I-beam and my pieces of angle iron, clamps it down on the bench, and starts pounding on it. This here is going to fix that problem. I think this is something that I could use, and you may look at it and say, but Tony, that's awful small. Yes, that's the key to all this. I can take this now and poke this away underneath the bench there, and it's out of my way. Okay. The biggest issue you got with tools when you buy tools, bigger is not always better. Okay. You got a 2-car garage, 1-car garage, go ahead, fill it up with tools. You're going to be working on your car out by the door. Okay. That was always a concern of mine when it came to tools, is finding stuff that you could use that didn't take up a lot of room. To the average guy that's doing a lot of repairs on a car, small repairs, this would be ideal. And the quality of this can bend up to 16 gauge. Okay. I use all 18 gauge here, and I've had to experiment with a bit and bending up some stuff. And it was quite amazing how sharp the bends are, right? So this is a tool that's going to come in handy. It has some neat features on it. Like if you decided you want to make something like this here, I found that some of the neat little features that got on it are pretty cool. It's adjustable on the sides, the handle. You can adjust the tension on the handle. So for the locking mechanism, when you move it up and down, you can turn the nut, and then you can actually push down on it, change the tension of how much tension you want on, depending on the thickness of metal. Also, the deck on it has an adjustment keyway on the back side of it that when you loosen a Allen key, you can actually rotate the off-centered wheel. And what that does, it moves the deck of the bender forward or back. So you can actually, bend thicker steel or thinner steel. It's heavy gauge steel. Everything's very solid. I don't see no poor, welds and stuff like that on it. It seems like it's welded together really nice. Lower brake section on it. It's very sturdy. It seems like it's a real heavy piece of gauge steel. And it has points on it where you can actually oil it up to keep it oiled. It seems like it's a very nice rig. But the feature that I love about it is that all the teeth on the front are removable, and you can change them around. You can unbolt the front teeth with these Allen keys in the front and move them out. And you can find out, like if you've got a piece that's so long, it's 10 inches long, it's 5 inches long, it's 3 inches long, it's 1 inch long. Okay. You got to make a bend in it. You can set these up by mixing them together to get the bend size that you need. I got it set up there now, so it bolts at the top of the bench. And, I can just unbolt it, take it off, and lay it on the floor, slide it away, put it on a shelf somewhere. I'm going to looking around the garage here trying to find a location where I can actually build a frame for it and mount it permanently. That would be ideal if I can do that. That way I haven't got to worry about it, because I think it's something I'm going to use a lot of, right? So I'm going to walk you through this now. I'm going to take some steel now and bend it up. I'm going to make a little tray is what I'm going to make out of this now today. And I'm just going to use this here. I just say I'm going to bend up a battery tray. Now I found this random piece of steel here. Instead of me going cutting up some big stuff, I'm just going to use what I got. There you have it. I'm just going to go ahead now and cut that out. So here we have it. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to bend this side up, bend this side up, bend this side up, and bend this side up. Make a little tray out of it. So I'm going to mark it out and set it up so I can actually get it ready for the bend. So here's all I did, is I just took the ruler, laid it on, marked it out, marked it out, marked it out, marked it out. Is this perfectly X'd? I don't know, because it is what it is. Pretty square, it's close enough. This is only a test piece to show you what the bender can do. So now that I got this done, what I got to do now is I want to bend this side up, this side up, this side up, and this side up. I got to remove these corner sections right here. So I'm going to take the grinder now, cut these 4 corners out, and then we'll move on to the next step. So I got that all cut out. The 4 corners are all done. Now, what this is, you're looking at this and you're saying, what kind of metal is he using? This is old shelving, okay? What this is, old sections off of locker doors. I do use a lot of recycled metal, and this has a coating on both sides. And I use it, so I just leave the coating on it for now. I usually clears it off if I got to, but for demonstration purposes, so you can actually see all the lines, I'm going to leave everything alone there. It is 18 gauge metal, okay? So that's what we're going to be bending here today. So what I'm going to do now is I turn around and I set this up over here on the sides. So I have a bit of a gap here. You can see the way this section here step back because I'm using the heavier gauge metal. And I done that, I showed you earlier. From this here, you loosen up the Allen key on the back side right here, and then you rotate this here, and that'll pull this back. The only other thing I want to do now is I want to adjust it for this here. So when I open this up, I'll lay the 18 gauge in. And then when I close it down, you can feel there's tension on it there now. That feels pretty good. I think I can get away with that. That should be good, like that. I'm happy with that. So now, for the purposes of this, I can turn around and bend all these four corners and pick out the ones that I want. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to bend this side, and I'm going to bend this side, so then all I got left is these two outer bends here, okay? So I'm just going to set it up in the brake here now, and just make some bends. All I'm doing is I'm lining up my lines. Locking that. Bending it up on the 90. So as you can see, I got two bends made. Now, before, if I was making this box, I would cut a piece of angle iron, the length of this here, and then clamp it in place and bend this up over it. Or I'd clamp it in the vise if you could, which is not, it's too wide here. I'd have to, if I had a smaller vise, I could probably do it. That's what I'd use to make them bends. We have a 1 inch, we have a 2 inch, we have a 3 inch, we have an 8 inch, and we have a 10 inch, okay? So I know this here is a little more than 4 inches. So we need something underneath that. So we have a 3 and we had a 1. So I'm going to use 2 of them there to make them bends there. Want this one, I can remove this one here. Take this one out of the way. I'll take this one here and move this over to here. And I think I'm just going to remove this one altogether. I'll probably put it on the far end, possibly. Now I'm going to leave this out just to over-exaggerate what you're capable of doing with these. Okay. I'm going to move these over to the middle. Oh, we got to move this one over. These here have little sliders, little thread things on it. Push one out the end of it. There's them there. It just slides into the channel. Like you'd had some money spent on this, trying to make one of these here. Around here, I'd say just to go out and buy the materials, just the flat stock steel and the angle iron and stuff, you'd spend $300. So there's something to be said about that. So then I got them positioned there and give myself lots of room on either side. This is not something you see a lot of fellas showing, because I can honestly tell you it took me a lot of years to figure out how these things work. So now we got the brake there. So this is all we got to do now. Just slide that in there. Okay. Now I'm noticing here that these here, how high are these here? They're a little bit more than an inch. And I'm noticing right now that when this is down, I have a little more than an inch on the inside there for clearances. So your lips are limited to this, how big you can make them. That's fine. Usually everything I usually make only has like a 3/4 inch lip or 5/8 lip on it. I'll make do with this here now today here. But you can see the concept behind it. And there you have a little tray with the 4 corners bent up. You can dolly them out there now, well up your 4 corners. And that'll be best kind. Just a simple little tool for making simple little projects, making life a lot easier. I would have to bend these up, and I'm totally amazed at how sharp these bends are. How nice they are, the bends. That's it. I think that I should have had the one put on this end here too, just to even have everything even, because I had pressure here and pressure here. It was fine, it was okay, but I think that instead of having this all open on one end, I should at least have one piece put in this end here while I was making this box section here. Just have a gap here and have it so it had strength to fall down here and down here as well. Just wanted to point that out. The brake showed up in a box, a wooden box, and it was really mounted nicely on this box. So shipping on it was amazing, and the whole thing was together. I never had to assemble nothing. It was unbolted off the pallet and use it. So there you have it, another cool tool to add to the shop. I just love when they're so small and portable. You could take this to, you know, if I want to go out to another fellow's shop, because I've done that for a lot of years, this would be the thing to take. If someone wanted some metal work done, I could load this up aboard the truck and I can go on. It's pretty neat. I never knew you could get a 24-inch brake like this, or a box and pan brake. I've always wanted to have one, because I've always wanted to be making this type of stuff, because, like, you know, making battery trays or something like that, I can get pretty custom with using that to make stuff like this. You can make covers, and there's all kinds of things you can make out of that. I'm very glad I got it. I've always wanted one. So if you want to check the description below, you'll find discount codes to get a percentage off. Check that out if you're interested in getting one, because it's ideal for a small shop and they're reasonably priced. To me, paying $2,000 and $3,000 for tools is just like, I don't know about that, right? To me today, a cheap tool is like less than $500. It doesn't take up a lot of room. It serves the purpose, because you're going to find that, like you were going to say, well, Tony, if you want to do a door bottom, yes, you're going to want to have a larger brake to do a door bottom, but for the most part, a lot of the pieces that you see people when they're repairing cars, they're small pieces. There's usually not a great big large pieces that people are doing. Fellas repairing bottoms of fenders. Gotta make the wheel lip with the lip on the bottom. You can use this here. A rocker panel that you gotta bend up, and you gotta bend the end for the wheel well. You can use this here, okay? This is a whole bunch of little things you can bend up with this. And you can use it for just as a regular brake for making small sections. Like if you have rust around your window, you can use this to bend it up, right? And there's really crisp edges on it, right? If you look at the edges on it, looks really nice. So, but that's a neat little project. How simple that was to bend up. I could never do that before, unless what I end up having to do is, like, I turn around and used to get a piece of angle iron, and then I would have to hammer all this here. They bend it up over the piece of angle iron, and I have to cut a piece of angle iron to fit in there. And then clamp that down in there, and then I can hammer that up to get that. That's how I've been doing it for years and years and years. Won't be doing that now. Anyway, I'm going to leave this one here. I hope the tips are good, and until next time.